Hey family, it's Tasha, MAMABEAR Prepping. You guys ready to get into it? Today, we are going to get into a grocery list, stuff to buy. This is just a rundown of all the different types of water preps, water preparedness type items that you might want to think about getting in order to be ready for water preparedness, making water safe to drink, okay? So get your drink, pull up, let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time, and welcome back for the rest of you guys. All right, so let's not waste any more time. We are going to get into this. Okay, so in no particular order, this is what I got. You're going to need filtering elements. So again, I'd said in this week, in earlier videos, that's another thing. If you did not catch all the videos for this week, this whole week was dedicated to water, where I went into individual processes of water treatment, containers, rain barrels, filtering, you sourcing water, whatever it is that has to do with water, I covered this week, okay? So in one of those videos, I mentioned that when you are looking for filtering systems, for do-it-yourself filtering systems, you want to be putting in the search engine filtering elements, okay? That way you get the elements, the filters that actually sit into a hole, and they have a little nut bolt action on the other side to hold it in place, okay? Those are the type of filters, and you want to be getting charcoal and fluoride type filters. Next thing I have is unscented bleach. You want to have at least 5% or higher when we're talking about treatment of water. So as long as it's 5% or higher, you're good to go, okay? I think our home bleach that we have right now, that when the last time I looked was like a 7%er, okay? So take a look. There's other types. There's other, I guess, formulas, if you will. If you do end up with a bleach that is less percentage, there is calculations in order to use it. But just for the sake of the manual that we use, that is a DOD open to the public water type manual, which I will link in the description box below again, and is linked in all the other videos this week. It talks about it's 5% or higher is what you need to shoot for when we're talking about your liquid bleaches, okay? Bleach tabs, iodine, iodine purification tablets. So the thing to remember with that is those are individual tablets that you would get, that you can easily buy. Purification, if you put in the search water purification tablets, more than likely you're going to get iodine type tablets. You need to make sure that you're getting that plus the PA plus, okay? You will see that in a 2-pack available for you to buy in some of these kits. If you do not get that, you're okay, but your water is going to taste bad. It's not going to taste good, okay? So just keep that in mind. And the problem with that is people buy tablets, they're going to go to use them, they're going to let it set for 30 minutes, they're going to do everything they're supposed to do, they're going to drink it, it's going to taste bad, and they're going to then think the water is bad, okay? And obviously that's not good if people are going to be rejecting perfectly good water, okay? So if you know that's going to be a problem for you, get that PA plus added as well, or buy the combo packs, okay? Next thing I have is your calcium hypochlorite and your sodium hypochlorite. This is basically your pull shocks, right? You can get this stuff in granule, or you can get it in liquid. Usually sodium, typically sodium hypochlorite is your liquid stuff, and your granule tends to be your calcium hypochlorite. You want to shoot for 70%. Okay, but again, if you end up with lower, because again, that's not the easiest to find even online, just because this is a product that we've had to deal with shortages before, it's high demand. Just know that you'll have to do the math calculation to ensure that you're putting enough in for your product. Also, in the manual, it tells you these percentages I'm telling you, right? It tells you, hey, when you're looking for this product, shoot for a 70% or higher type product, okay? So there is products out there that have these in them, but maybe at a lower concentration level. And so you want to be paying attention to your percentages when you're ordering stuff and buying stuff online. I'm not here to tell you a certain brand or anything like that, because that's almost impossible. I did that the other day with a water preserver that I like, and it comes to find out that you can't even get it anymore right now, okay? So I'm giving you the tools to be able to get what you want, but get the percentages that you need to make the water safe, okay? All right, so TDS, let's get into testers. So different testers we have in my home. We have several TDS testers, okay? They're going to say TD tester or TDS. It's testing the dissolved solids in your water. Basically, those things that you cannot see, it is testing, okay? This is a fun one to start with if you're just trying to see just off the GP what is the levels of your water. So take a look at that. A lot of testers too have a TDS tester built into it, and so if you have something already, take a look at it. Really pay attention to it. If you don't have the instructions for it anymore, go online, Google the instructions and Google what exactly it tests for, because a lot of testers do test for TDS as well, okay? So that's one. Other stuff that we have is one kits, right? So a one-use kit. Usually it will be called a well testing kit, a water kit, test the water kit, but it's a one-use thing. I like keeping these in my preps. I don't use these all the time, but I like using these when I'm either trying to verify, like I really want to back up like test stripping, my strip testing or something else, and then I'll bring out a one use to use, okay? I have these in my preps for the future because I want to have these if I'm going around, you know, especially if we're on the move, we're moving, you know, we find ourselves in a location for a few months and then we move to a different location, whatever the case may be. This is not really conducive for putting in your backpack and you want to test some river water that you just got, because it's a one-use thing, right? Once you use it, that's it. But beneficial to have in your preps. Other testers, my favorite probably is any of your, this is a 16-in-1 test, but there's several on the market like 10-in-1, 5-in-1, 6-in-1, 20-in-1, right? Just take a look at what they test and make sure that you're good. They test for all different types of stuff. So hardiness of your water, your pH level, your chlorine level, iron, copper, lead, nitrates, nitrates, total chlorine, your fluoride, your chlorine dioxide, there's a bunch, carbonate, all types of stuff, okay? So depending on what you're trying to test for, because a lot of times people are testing water, not necessarily because it's the end of the world, they simply just want to know, you know, is it going to you know, does it have enough chlorine? Is it treated enough to be able to drink? Is it safe enough to drink, right? And you know, a 30-in-1 kit might not be necessary. However, cost effective these are. Also, I like these because they're individual strips, and so for long-term storage, I just like it. So there's 10 of these. This is 100 strips in this box, okay? So these packets have 10 strips each in them. And you literally lay it down next to the chart. It tells you the colors. It tells you little black boxes of the area that it should be in, just to give you a broad idea. And then you could do further research to see, you know, if something was a little outside the black box or whatever, and what you could do to rectify it. I like these, cost effective, tons of them on the market. I have never bought any water test strips that I felt were like, this is sketch. Like, I don't like this. If you felt like something was sketch, I have, however, tested it and then got a different tester, you know, just to compare to see if the results would be the same. So if you ever are in doubt, then you can do that with a couple different testing options to see basically if it's matching up, okay? And you're getting the same test results, okay? Some other testers, you need a basic pH/chlorine tester, okay? So this is the one we have. I wrote down what this is. This is a Vicky water quality tester. Again, it really doesn't matter which tester you get, right? Because again, there's a lot on the market, but ensure that you're getting something that tests your pH and tests your chlorine levels. Now, with this tester in particular, you have to set it. So meaning we had to test in another way, figure out where our settings were, use this little dial to set it, then the machine is set, and then when you test, then it can tell you if it's off, basically, right? So you get a baseline of where you're at, input that, and then you can test. And literally this has a little dial, and it will tell you ideal, and it will go over, and it has for pH and chlorine. So chlorine, it will give you a caution area. It has the middle that's ideal, and then it has the section that literally says on the machine, add chlorine, right? And it will tell you, look, you're in an area where you need to add chlorine. It's not safe levels. Also, you know, you got your ppms at the bottom. Then at the top it has pH, where in the bad caution area you can add acid, and then on the other side of that, adding soda or ash. So I told you my hubby's background. He said in his whole lifespan of dealing with water treatment, everything, he's never been in a situation where he had to add acid. He has been in a situation though where he has had to add soda, so baking soda or ash, like, you know, ash from fire, right? So he has been in a situation where he had to add that. So this is just a basic, you know, hey, it tells you where you're at, and then it tells you right on the screen, hey, you're in a situation where you need to add some stuff, okay? I like this because it's pretty simple. It takes one AA battery. So again, you need to prep for that. But I like this. We've had a few different ones of these, and I like them. I've never felt like, hey, this is not working. In this one particular, I like it because it clearly tells you, hey, add, where some of the other ones we had, you know, it will tell you, hey, it's not good, it's bad or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily guide you on what it needs. And I kind of like that this one does. Another tester is radiation type testers. Now, this is the thing. This is uncharted territory when it comes to radiation. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk about filtering of water and for radiation a little bit, just for those of you that want to stick around for that little bit of tidbit. But you know, do these type of testers work? Who knows? Okay, but there's tons of testers on the market, Geiger type testers to test food, to test water, to test fruit, things like that. Green test seems to be the most prominent one that you will find on the market. But again, we've never been in a situation where we needed to test radiation, test our food, test our water, right? So I can't tell you if this works, if these products work. All I can tell you is we get the things, we have a dosimeter, we have these testers, right, to test supposedly water and food. And the time comes, we'll utilize them, right? But I can't tell you whether those products actually work. It's like EMP shields. I can't really tell you if that stuff actually works, right? Because I've never gone through something using it, okay? So same thing. Beneficial to have, in my opinion, 100% though, okay? Let's see. All right, so moving out of tester stuff. Different things to get in your preps. P&G emergency water, okay? Those are basically individual water packs. They're however many ounces. You can get cases of them. They're, I'm not going to say cheap, right? But they're not overly expensive, but it is a way of getting cased emergency water in your home, okay? Boiling pans. Be thinking about having to boil water, what that consists of, what are your alternate cooking sources. If you don't have that unlocked, getting that unlocked, having all your fire resources to make a fire, and having the pots and pans to be able to boil water, your jet boils, whatever it is, but be thinking about water and how you would boil it. And what that looks like. And think about, do you have the pans necessary for that? Do you have dedicated pans for that? Okay. Straining materials. So cheesecloth, even old, t-shirts, cotton t-shirts. But be thinking about clean stuff, right? Think about white. So cheesecloth, a white cotton t-shirt, even screening material, like the screening material that you would use to make screened windows, screen doors. That's great. That's what's on top of my rain barrels. So having that, but having different straining, filtering type materials, okay? In general, this is to help you build your different filtering systems as you move forward with water collection and treatment, okay? Let's see, different containers. So did a video on containers, check that out. But utilizing your different containers, whether it's 3.5 gallon, 5 gallon, 10 gallon, 30 gallon, 55 gallon, 50, whatever. Okay. Whatever containers you're going to get those bought, get those secured, get them started, whether that's rain catchment containers, that's containers for inside your home, that's containers for collecting water, catching water, pop-up containers. There's a lot of stuff that's pop-up plastic type containers that doesn't take a lot of space in your house. Then when you need it, you pop it up and then you'll go to your water source to collect your water. Remember, even those of you that are just going to be sitting around waiting for the government to bring you water, you're going to need something to, it's not always bottled water that they give you, right? Sometimes it's you got to come and they're going to have a water barrel and you're going to, get your water. And so depending on what size container you bought will depend on how much water you can get, especially if you're sourcing it from somewhere, think about carrying that. How do you carry water? If you're trying to walk somewhere to get water, get that water. And then how do you then get it home? Sloshing, moving around. How do you carry water on your back? Is that a thing? Camelbacks, right? I would venture that there's bigger size water backpacks that you can get for sourcing water, getting water. Take a look at that, right? Think about how you're getting the water and back, getting it back, right? Water on your back, water on your head, water, maybe you have to get some crates or some carts, right? So you can get the water in there, put, a tight top on it and get it home. You need to think this stuff through. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult, okay? Next thing I have is stuff for filtering. So activated charcoal, you can buy that on Amazon. I'm sure there's some other places on online that you can buy that as well. Maybe in bulk and a little bit better pricing. Okay, but you can put in activated charcoal and get that. I like having activated charcoal in a lot of different ways, in pill form, in bag form, so that, for filtering. It's a very, very good product for prepping and for preparedness to keep, okay? Bags of sand, bags of gravel. This can mean just some, hey, go to Home Depot, get 5 bags of sand, 5 bags of gravel, maybe 5 bags of pea gravel, 5 bags of regular gravel. Now, this is the thing. This is natural sources that you can find outdoors, right? But if we're in a situation with radiation, maybe that's you want to start with a clean product, right? Maybe you're not having to deal with that. And so, yeah, you could just source the local rocks, local pebbles, the sand, whatever. But maybe you're in an area where you don't have a lot of sand, okay? And now, okay, I'm having to switch to dirt. My point is, though, is if you know that in the future, there's a good possibility that you're going to want to be able to make a crude natural filter of some sort, what are you doing now to ensure that you have those pieces necessary to do that? Or do you want to be fumbling outside trying to find where there's some local sand, where there's some local pebbles, where there's some, right? Or do you want to already have some bags of that stuff in your garage ready to go? Me, I'm the latter. Because I'm preparedness. I'm trying to prepare. You knowing what those materials are when you're out in the wild possibly is still good and beneficial. You would get those things, give them a good rinse off, and then use them, right? But again, I think of options. I think about different things that could happen, and having a clean product that's ready to go. So just my thoughts on that, okay? So bags, sand, gravel, do-it-yourself filtering pans and buckets. So basically getting the pans, having the pans, make the filtering system. But listen, if you haven't, having the materials at least, okay, so that you could do it later. Get the pans, get the buckets, having extra 5-gallon buckets that are ready to go for homemade crude filtering systems, right? That stuff is not gonna be wasted money at all, okay? Extra spigots. So spigots for attaching to these different pans, these different buckets, different rain barrels, whatever. Get that stuff. Sometimes that stuff starts to leak, goes bad. Getting that extra plumbing tape to go around it. Getting the extra bolts. Some of those spigots and stuff, it's a spigot, but the inside doesn't really have a bolt, okay? So what do you have? What do you need? Having those extra pieces so that if something goes bad, starts to leak, whatever, you cut the hole too big, whatever, different sizes of stuff. Think about spigots, okay? And it just makes water, it makes it easier to get the water once you've done whatever treatment, if you have a nice spigot on it to, get water. Let's see, hand pumps. So being able to have the ability to get water out of pumps. All types of hand pumps. If you go to my influencer page, I do believe in the water preparedness folder, I have some hand pumps on there. Just they're ran off of battery, right? Some size C or D, I can't remember. And they're just hand pumps. Simple pump. It looks like a long stick. You would stick it in the barrel. It has a hose that comes out. You turn it on. It's battery ram. And then it pumps the water out to whatever the source you are trying to get the water to. This is very important to have when you have huge barrels like 55-gallon barrels, 50 gallons. Those are super heavy to move once you have that water in there. And so it's not like you can just be tipping that bad boy over to try to get water. Now you're wasting water, sloshing it all around. Maybe that barrel didn't have any kind of spigots or anything on it, so you have to have a way to get it out. If you have some power ram pumps, great, okay, but I'm thinking more long-term, grid down, easy to use. These stick type pumps are super easy. Anybody can use them. Your kid can hold it right there while you pump out water, okay? Other thing they have is a lot of these water containers have like latched down little grooves that really latch them down and lock them in place for long-term storage, right? The actual cap. Some of these, when you buy them, they will come with a strap wrench. If you don't have that though, and it has that type of lid, you need to get a strap wrench, which is just the plastic wrenching tool, but it has a big looped rubber piece that goes over the lid and it latches it down super tight. But you also need that to then open it and reverse open it. You're not going to be able, because it has these grooves on it, you're not going to just be able to strong arm it open, okay? So just some stuff to think about. A lot of times when you buy those 3.5 gallon containers or those 5 gallon containers and you buy them like in a kit, let's say you buy like a set of 6, usually in the past when I've bought them, I buy them in a set of 6, a set of 8, right? And a lot of them, if you look, they have them where they come with kits where it will come with the wrench with it, okay? Some other stuff, water bob. If you do not have a water bob, we've gone through times where that had shortages though, where we couldn't get them. So a good water bob. Any other kind of pop-up. So again, you have pop-up containers. You have pop-up rain barrels, pop-up water catchments. So kind of like a water bob, but it's a 30-gallon or a 40-gallon or a 50-gallon pop-up barrel that you literally can pop up in your house right next to your kitchen sink. Something's coming down the pipeline. It's SHTF. There's still water coming out of the tap. You're filling up your water bobs in your bathtubs, and you could start popping up those 50-gallon, 30-gallon pop-up barrels next to, one in the bathroom next to the kitchen, the sink, or one in the outside by the spigot, or one in the kitchen, and just start filling those up from the tap so that you have utilized as much water from the tap before there's no water coming from the tap possibly, okay? So again, I like those because, they don't take a lot of space, right? You can easily put them in a drawer or whatever, and then when you need them, you pop them up. So if you're looking for that type of stuff, you're just putting in the search engines, pop up water catchment, pop up water container. All types of different sizes and stuff will come up, okay? Again, that's not for long-term storage because a lot of the stuff is like a little bit, not the best quality plastic, right? It's not going to be thick like a barrel plastic. It's going to be more of a temporary type plastic, okay? It's going to hold the water, but, this is for an emergency, okay? All right, next thing is having a water meter key, right? A way to turn off the water, knowing how to turn off the water and where all the valves are in your house, making sure that your children know where all the turn off valves are in the house. That's just good GP of knowing how to do that in case you had a regular overflow or some kind of accident and, you're not home or whatever, and the kids know how to turn that off. But having the key that you need, to turn on and off the water, out in the yard or wherever your water meter is, okay? Having a silk key. Silk key is the key that you use if you're trying to procure water from, a source that is locked down, meaning like water that is goes to a maintenance building for an apartment building, or a downtown, a strip of, a strip mall and their water, right? That stuff gets locked down, and a silk key is what maintenance people use, workers, utility people, that type of stuff, so that they have this universal key that will open that stuff when they're doing work on it or whatever. But it also keeps the general population out of it, right? And not able to get it. But you can buy a silk key, okay? So if you do not have one, get one. You have no idea when you would be able to need that. We actually keep our silk keys in our go bags because I can't think of any other time that I would really ever be in a situation where I would use it, unless I was out on the road, and we're trying to survive and we're possibly looking for water in different sources, right? And that would be, to me, the time frame that I would possibly need this key, okay? Next thing I have is hoses for rain barrels. So all the extra hoses, either to connect barrels to each other, for overflow hoses. Hoses are a wonderful thing, okay? If you're doing any kind of last minute do-it-yourself crude filtering system, having hoses that are going from this system to this system to this system, I cannot stress enough how important hoses are going to be. And hoses are always good for connecting to those spigots that I talked about, okay? Supplies to make a sun distilling, right? So any kind of do-it-yourself type stuff that has to do with water that you want to do. This is just my example, is sun distilling. What would be the supplies needed to be able to build one of those out one day? Again, you don't have to build it. I would say that would be a cool project with the kids. Build it out, see if it works, see how much water you got. Maybe put it up, but build it. But get the supplies, right? Get the things that might be beneficial for collecting water in some capacity. Remember, for all the batteries, for all the things, right? Batteries for testers, batteries for hand pumps, batteries for whatever it is, the pieces that have to do. I mean, you need batteries for other things, but really think about it in regards to water preps this week, since we're talking about water. What are the things and what type of batteries? This TDS, for example, it takes like those little tiny round ones, right? If you don't open up the testers and see what they actually take, you won't know what type of batteries that they need. And then, once it's dead if you didn't get batteries, okay? Handheld filters, of course, life straws, that type of thing. Having your on-the-go emergency last-minute filter. But again, you need to be doing the other pieces of water treatment, right? It's not filter and drink it. It's filter, it's boil, it's all of that stuff. Treat it. You need to make sure that your water is safe to drink and assume it's contaminated, okay? That's my 2 cents. All right, so that's my list. Now, if you're still paying attention, 27 minutes in, I want to talk about something that I promised a subscriber. I said that I would talk about radiation, making water safe to drink with radiation, the tester, different things that we have, okay? So obviously with radiation and water, really overall, the safest way is RO, the process of reverse osmosis. The problem with that is that if you do research, even that does not guarantee that it will get 100% of everything that it can get, okay? Meaning there's still going to be stuff left over. Now, also, if we're dealing with this type of stuff, we're not having power, we're not having pressurized water, we're 9 out of 10, 9.9 out of 10, you're not having RO, okay? And so it becomes, how do you try to make water as safe as you possibly can? That's radiation. So I'm just going to walk you through my thought processes on this. Okay, so first thing I think about radiation and water is I think, okay, where are you sourcing it from? And mind you, this is a last resort. We're not messing with this, and unless it's Mad Max, all our water is gone. We've sourced water. It's like dire, okay? We're years into a nuclear exchange, and there's nothing left, right? Then we're doing this. I'm messing with underground water first, so I'm going out of my way to have the things necessary to dig a shallow well, okay? So you can add this stuff to your list. Auger extensions, the piping, the hand pump, all of that stuff to be able to source water underground, to try to source water and do a well underground. For me, I want that water first. If I'm sourcing from somewhere else, I'm trying to access well water first. Well water, or I'm trying to dig a well and I'm trying to get water that's underground. That's the water I'm trying to mess with if I'm even thinking about messing with water that has radiation in it. Okay? That's number one. Underground water. Okay? Once I have my hands on underground water, then I'm taking it through a crude filtering system. I think Southern Prepper 1 talked about this a little bit in one of his videos as far as making water safe to drink, crude filtering. My family, crude filtering, probably 2 or 3 separate bucket filtering systems, meaning you have a bucket filtering system that has activated charcoal, has the sand, has the pebbles, right? That setup times 3. So I'm straining the water through the first one. I'm taking the strained water, I'm putting it through the second filtering system. I'm taking that water and I'm straining it through the third crude filtering system, natural filtering systems. Then I'm having and this is dedicated. You have not used those for anything else. You're not using the one you used for your animals outside or that you've set up for any kind of the rain catchment. These are dedicated bucket systems that you're utilizing to run this radioactive water through, okay? Then I'm using a dedicated Berkey. Now, what I'm going to tell you about this is I don't really care about the Berkey itself, right? This can be a do-it-yourself, a pans, buckets, whatever, okay? A filtering system unit that you bought or that you made, okay? That's what, it doesn't matter, okay? What matters to me is inside that I'm going to have Berkey filters because I like Berkey filters. I trust Berkey filters. Berkey filters actually brag on their thing that they get out radioactive stuff, okay? So my system that's dedicated to this water. This is not your Berkey in the house. This is not your do-it-yourself filter systems that you had in your house already. You're not messing with none of that stuff. This is dedicated stuff just for radiation water, okay? But in this system, I would have Berkey filters. I would have fluoride filters in the bottom, and the top holes I would replace with other company radiation water filters. So there's companies out there that, again, like Berkey, there's actually companies out there like ReadyWise has one where they actually call it a radiation water filter, right? It is to filter radiation particles, okay? And so I would have a system that had some other stuff from another company, plus the ones I trust, the Berkey, and this water would get ran through that, okay? And then I would continue the treatment of boiling and treating water. And then I would try, again, I don't know how much it's going to work. I would probably have my dosimeter in the area, and then I would have my food tester, water tester to see if it is going to test. Something about these too, you've got to really do your research because a lot of these have like apps that get connected to it. They have different stuff that's like on grid type stuff. And so you got to think of that when you're doing your testers. That's how me and my family are doing it, okay? What's crazy is that still might not be enough. I tell you what, it will get something out. It absolutely will do something, and it definitely is worth all that effort. If it is to the point where this is our only water, right? Underground and then gone through that entire process. Is it time consuming? Yes. But what is it worth to have your family continue to live and have water to drink? As safe as you possibly can make it, okay? At that point, you're living in radiation. You know, whatever's left probably is a drop in the bucket compared to what you've already been, getting exposed to. So it is what it is. I hope that helped my subscriber that asked specifically about that. That's how I'm doing it, okay? If you're asking my opinion of how me and my family will be sourcing water if it comes to trying to source radioactive water. I mean, just to say that is mind-boggling, to be honest, okay? So I I hope that you guys in the comments are putting in your 2 cents, any kind of water preps, any kind of extra stuff that you think that you have in your stuff, testers that you use that you've loved, different products that you've used that you've loved, systems, whatever. Talk about it in the comments. Let people know. There's a lot of people just like me that read all the comments and that read it to learn more, to add to the notes that they took, hopefully during this video, okay? So hopefully for those two that have been doing this for a while, I mentioned something that was helpful to you. So I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you guys Monday. Take care. Bye.